That was a fun game. Okay, luckily not as many notes as the last one, so... Or I guess maybe that's unlucky? Eh. Alright. Let's review this game. First off, East 1, 5th turn, and 8th turn. And as always, if anyone has any questions, feel free to post on the chat. Because unlike when I'm playing the game, I'm not in a 5-minute delay now. And the main reason that I'm in a 5-minute delay for the main stream is because the game that I'm playing doesn't actually allow people to stream without delay of at least 5 minutes on this final table. So yeah. What's up, bureaucratics? Alright, so 5th turn. Oh, this one is kind of interesting. So right now, yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shapes, and we need to throw out one of them. So in this case, the two penchants, or the two edge weights, are the most obvious ones. This one's kind of better than those two because it has this pair included. This one right here is the Dora, so that leaves this one. So which do we drop first, the 9 or the 8? Well, even if we draw a 6, we're not going to be replacing it with any of our other shapes, so we should drop the 8 first. So I wrote this one down because I remember in game I dropped the 9, and I thought, wait, I should have dropped the 8 right there. And then... Here we go. Actually, no, this is still right there. This is the one. So now I have, once again, 6 different proto shapes. So I need to drop one. I can drop the 4, 5, but that's probably the best one out of what I got. I can drop the 8, 9, I'll lose the Dora, or I could drop the 2, 3. But that's like good because it's a double-sided weight, right? Not really. Mainly because if we look on the board, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 1 Manzus. So this shape right here is actually only weighting on the 4. Which is kind of bad because it's like right in the middle. This shape is also only weighting on 1 tile, but it's at least the Dora, and we don't see any of it. And also importantly, if we do keep around this shape, if we draw the Dora, we don't have to drop it. Whereas if we keep around this shape and we draw the Dora, then we have to drop it. So rather than dropping either of these, drop the 3, 2 here, starting with the 3, and then going towards the outside for safety. Oh, you're very new to Mahjong? Welcome. And if I use any terms or anything that you don't know, just let me know, because there's a lot of them in Mahjong. So, like I said, yeah, like Ryeonmin, double-side weights, Penchan is like an edge weight, etc., etc. So whenever I'm reviewing these games, normally I'll just take notes down when playing the regular game, and then just go and look at these individual notes. Because if I try to review the entire game, like step by step, last time I did it, it took about 3.5 hours. So this is a little bit faster. Yeah, most normally I would have greedily kept on for the Ipeco as well. It's only because the ones are dead right here. And then also because this is the Dora. If this wasn't the Dora, if the 7, if anything else aside from like the 7, 8, or 9 was the Dora, then I probably would have also just dropped that and gone for the Ipeco. But in this specific case, it's good to drop that. Alright, next up. East 2, 4th turn, no 8-mon cut early. Right here. Ooh, okay, yeah, this is kind of shiny. So, yeah. So if we look at our hand, we got 1 shape, 2 shape, 3 shapes, and then we got a weirdness going on over here when we bring in the 6, but it's basically 4 or 5 shapes, and then we got the floating 3. So I was wondering, I'm like, do I want to greed right here and like just throw out the 9, or do I want to, keep the 3 around, and so I can keep the 3 around and maybe upgrade this to a like Tanyao as well, maybe like Tanyao, Sanshoku, Pinfu. I can have dreams. Oh, you played your first game the other night? That's nice. Or against humans, that is. Yeah, real life Mahjong is really nice, but it's always so hard to find 4 people. Luckily, I live in a house where we literally host a Mahjong club, so I'm a little bit lucky on that end. Speaking of which, if anyone happens to be in North California, check out the Pacific Mahjong League. We have meetups like 3 to 4 times every week, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so yeah, I think dropping 3 right here is okay, though. Or maybe I should just go ahead and drop 4. The reason why I don't want to drop 9 is because I have this 4, 4, or more specifically 4, 6, 8 shape, which means I can take in a 5 for the 4, 5, 6, or I can take in a 7 for the 6, 7, 8. Oh, bureaucratics, you're in Seattle? What? I was literally up in Seattle with the Seattle group, like on, what day was that? I think like last weekend, for a Mahjong retreat they had up there. So we all went to like Leavenworth, like middle of like the forest area, and just, rented out a big house with a hot tub, and then played Mahjong all week. It was fun. But yeah, the Seattle group was legit. Alright. Yeah, like, so it's a question of keeping the 4 here or the 3 here. I think I like the 4 a little bit better, mainly because if I keep... Oh, wait, yeah, 100%. Because I have like too many blocks right now. So if I count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but if I get a 7, then I instantly get my Tanyao pair right here, and I can just drop the 9s. So yeah, I should drop the 3 right here. This is an interesting shape. Oh yeah, the Mahjong group up there is nice. Is that the group that you played with? They meet up every Monday on like I think 7 o'clock at the Microsoft campus. You go get free drinks. It's really nice. All right, and then no 8-1 cut. So I got this right here, and I got to technically Tempai, or I'm sorry, 1 Shanten. So I can either throw the 8 or the 4 to keep it, or if I really want to greed, I can throw the 9, but I don't think I really need that. If I get a 7, I could also technically upgrade to Sanshoku chance as well, or if that's basically what I need. That's also kind of unlikely, because I need like 2 perfect tiles over here. So, do I drop the 4 first, or drop the 8 first? I think I should have well, actually, there's 1 4 right here. And so that means we have 1, and then of the 7s, we got 5 remaining. So 5 tiles to upgrade to Tanyao, versus 3 and some tiles for Sanshoku chance. But we should probably drop the 8 here. So normally whenever you get closer to Tempai, you want to throw out the more dangerous tiles first, but it's so early in the game right now, or in the hand, that you usually don't care about that. You'll start caring a little bit more about that when you hit the second row. So right here, I think I probably should have actually thrown the 8 over the 4, because that would give me more chances to upgrade this hand to Tanyao. Oh, okay, so you played against people on Tenhou before. That's cool. And you're in Seattle, one of the Mahjong hubs in North America. It was fate. Yeah, Tenhou is really, really nice. Whenever I first learned Japanese Mahjong, like, no one I knew around me knew how to play it, so just, played on Tenhou a lot. Eventually, I started, like, teaching people in a Mahjong club. Then I moved over here to California to play with the Pacific Mahjong League over here. I lived in Japan for a little while, played at some parlors over there. So, yeah, Mahjong's good. And now I just travel around, going meeting friends, playing Mahjong. Alright, so my next question on this hand was, should I have gotten rid of 8 earlier? So, especially once I hit the second row, should I have like slimmed it down for a safer tile? But if I keep the 8 around and I draw another 8, I can upgrade to Tanyao and throw out the 9s. Though right here, it's like, if I had like a 100% safe tile, like the last white dragon, that'd be pretty good. But this one is technically safe for right here, but not safe to everyone. Well, probably safe to them. Probably, maybe not them. So rather than just, keep that around for a tad bit more safety, keep this around for a little bit more potential right now. Same thing with the 1 pin, technically still dangerous for those two. And then Ricci right there. Oh yeah. Every year at SakuraCon, they do a giant mahjong room, where in one room they have like all the tables, and the other room they have like a screen showing like different mahjong animes while you're waiting for your table. It's pretty legit. Let me see. I have a link to their WordPress. I think you can find about their meetup right here. I'll post that. But yeah, they're pretty good. They're a pretty cool group. All right, next up, East 3 first turn, or 7th turn, and then Chi after Sozu, or Chi Sozu after Tenpai, question mark. So that was this beautiful hand right here. On the 7th turn, we got a red 5. Looking at our hand, we got, what is this? The round wind right here, and the Dora is the 9 Sozu. 9 is not being used by this person or this person, so they probably don't have any 8. But there's only 2 8s remaining, so originally going into this hand, I was thinking, well, I have, this nice Yakuhai. If the 8 does come out, I can cheat that, take instant Tenpai for 2,000 or 2,600 points. And if someone does Ricci after me, then I can just, fold with the East that I have. But I drew this 5. Now that upgrades the shape to a Ryankan shape. In other words, it can take in a 6 or an 8. And I can drop this over here, which I thought was pretty good, because if I do also get the 8, I can be waiting on the 2 and the 5. And even if I draw a 6, I'm not that happy with it, because I have to discard one of these Dora right here. And they both look pretty good on the board, so I think starting with 7 is good here. Then I got really lucky and drew the last Dora. So now I'm Tenpai with Dora 3 and also the round wind. So in this case, I don't want to reach because I already have an 8,000 point hand. Because if you have 4 Han and 40 Fu, that's already a Mongon. And if I reach and I win off someone, it's still only going to be a Mongon unless they get like Uradora. But my weight's really bad. As in like the likelihood of it coming out if I reach. Whereas if I stay quiet, looking on the board, like this person already dropped the 6, right? So if they do draw another one, they probably can't use it and they're going to drop it. But if someone's in reach and they draw it, they're like, well, this is a dangerous tile. I can't drop it. But if I just stay quiet and don't reach, in this situation right here, it's pretty good because it's already an 8,000 point hand. Plus, I can also upgrade this hand if I get a 1, a 3, a 4, or if I get a 6, I win. So we'll see. Now, the question was, at this point, I turned off my auto win button. I'm sorry, my auto call button so that there's no lag from the tiles. But if the 1 or the 4 came out from this person, or the 3, should I have called Chi? And I think the answer is probably yes. Because, actually, maybe not. So if the 4 comes out or the 1 comes out and I call it Chi and drop a 7, that looks really, really suspicious of like, oh, look, he's waiting on, this tile. Similarly, if I actually call a 3 or a 6 and then drop the 7, that also looks kind of suspicious. Or, well, I can't call the 6, I can only call the 3. But in that case, it's like I'd be waiting on the 1 and the 4 of bamboo, which is like really good, so I think I would call in that situation. Or maybe I should call in both. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I should call in both, mainly because I already have an 8,000 point hand, so if I can raise my chances of drawing my own tile, that'd be good. Okay. And then as it turned out, this person drew my winning tile, and they didn't need it, so they had to drop it. Alright, next up, East 4, 3rd turn. And 8th turn and 11th turn. So, what do I got right here? So right now I'm in first by an okay amount. A little bit over 10,000. In Mahjong, you know, at the end of the game, at the end of the day, you're just trying to win the game, right? Especially on Tenhou, where only placement matters. So you got to be very conscious of like, oh, how high am I above like everyone else, or how low am I? How close are we to the end of the game, etc., etc. So within a single hand, if you're not dealer and the other person you're going against isn't dealer, then they can make up pretty easily 10,000 points. Because if they get a Mongon Sumo, like, I don't know, Richi, Tsumo, Dora, and then one Uradora, that's 8,000 points, and you have to pay up 2,000 of it, so that's 10,000 points. They just jump ahead. And if they're the dealer, or if you're the dealer and they're not the dealer and they Tsumo, then they cover 12,000 points, because the dealer has to pay 2,000 more. So in a single hand, they can just, even if you like play perfect defense, they can still catch up to you. So in this case right here, even though it's like a kind of like okay distance, like anyone can still catch up to me pretty easily with like just 2 hands. So when I saw this, I'm like, this is like a good chance to potentially just take a quick hand and cut off their hands, because if I do end up Tempai, or if the East comes out, because we're in East 4, I can call it, throw the 6, get a pair with the 7s, and then be waiting on the 2. But I would have to drop the door right now. Though, looking at the shapes in my hand, I don't think that matters, and I think I should drop the door right now. Because, I don't know. The other potential is, if I'm really greedy, drop the 1-3 Sozu, keep around the 6-7-7 to make, 5-6-7, 6-7-8, or 7-7-7. Get a triplet of this and wait on Tonki of the Dora. But that's a lot of stuff that I need. And the Tonki of the Dora is really bad because, most people aren't going to drop it unless they have something worth fighting for. And if someone else reaches before me and has a better weight, I might get destroyed. So in this case, I probably should have dropped the Dora right here and taken my 1 Shanten. In the game, though, I think I was very, very, very greedy and dropped that, which I don't necessarily agree with. Womp, womp, womp. Okay, next up, 8th turn.
Each.
So, person Richi's right there, and I am folding. So this one I can see 2 of, this one I can see 2 of. Now, it's a different story. So, the number of safe tiles I have for the Richi is only 1. If I look around here, I don't have any more. And I have 2 of the Dora. And most importantly, I have 1 Shanten with really, really good Ukeire, which is like available tiles that I can draw to get into Tempai. For instance, if I throw out the 6, I can draw technically a 1, I can draw a 2, I can draw a 3, I can draw a 4, I can draw a 5 of Sozu. For the 7s, for the Pinzu, I could draw like a 2, I could draw a 4, a 5, I'm sorry, not a 4, a 5, a 6, 7, 8, or 9. And then I get, instant Tempai of 2 Dora, which is enough to fight non-dealer reach. So, what should I drop here? Huh. So in the game, I was thinking, oh, I should have dropped like 6 Sozu first. Yeah, either 6 So or 3 So. The 3 So right here is kind of iffy because I have the 1 out, so I lose the benefit of the 2 So. But even if I get the 2, I'd probably still Richi, because Richi Tsumo Doradora with a double side weight isn't bad, estimated value-wise. But if I keep this shape around right here and I complete, let's say, I don't know, if I get like the last Dora, but that's kind of unlikely, I'd end up with a good weight. If I draw an 8, I'm kind of sad, but that's still Richi with like 2 Dora waiting on the 7 in the north. Not ideal, but doable. So I guess the question is, would I rather be happy with drawing like the 8 or like the 6 of bamboo? Or would I be more happy with drawing the 2 and being in Furry 10? And I think the answer to that's probably the 2, because at least that has more weights. So in this case, I should probably actually drop the 6 Sozu. That's kind of interesting. And in the game, I dropped the 7. I'm like, what are you doing? Because I got like really focused in on this 6, 7, 7, 7 shape right here with the Dora. And I'm like, no, stop it. And then upgrade right here, because now I can take in a 2, 3, technically a 4, 5, and a 6. Most of those will give me a very nice shape. And keep going. And then I got the Tempai right here, waiting on the 4 and the north. So it's not the ideal Tempai, but it's still pretty okay. Potential 8,000 point hand. And against non-dealer reach, that's enough. The point situation, I am in first place right now, but it's not like by a lot, and it's only Southeast 4 right now. So usually in the East round, I always like go EV. And once I start to get, or EV is like estimated value. So like, if I'm in a fight where they have, I don't know, let's say a 5,000 point hand, and I have a 5,000 point hand, I'm willing to fight them because at the end of the day, I'll like get more points than if I folded my hand. And once it gets to the later South round, that's the point where you're like, oh well, I better actually start defending, or play to the board, play to the situation. But right here, I think Richi's okay. Richi! And sadly for me, they had Ipeko. But that's also okay.
Wrong.
Alright, next up. South 3. 8th turn. And then Richi. So what's going on in this board? Oh yeah, this one. 8th turn reach. Yeah. So it's South 3. This is the time where we're like, oh, we actually need to play a little bit situationally. And I am in first place, ahead of last by like 25,000 points, head of third by 20, and head of third by about 10,000 points. So pretty close between me and third. But if this game goes into the next round, which is South 4, and this person right here is still above 10,000 points below me, then I'm in pretty good shape. Because, like I mentioned earlier, the most that you can reasonably make up in a single hand is a Mangan Sumo. Yeah, they can get a Haneman Sumo, which is like 12,000 points, or covers like a, what is that, 15,000 point difference between two non-dealers, or even a better hand than that. But most probably, the limit is usually that Mangan hand. So, being 10,000 like 500 points over someone, as opposed to being 9,500 points, is like night and day. Especially in the last hand in Oras. So what do I do here? I got the Tempai. I have 3 Dora, which is great. But we got this guy over here doing something crazy. their discards look very much so like, hey, this is not a normal hand. They pull in the 9s, then they pull in the 3s. Most likely they're going for Toy Toy, all triplets with something else in their hand. I don't know what it is. Presumably, I would think they have some Dora in their hands, which means either A, they have the remaining South Winds, or they have the remaining Red Dora, or they have any Yakuhai tile that they can use. So I can see a couple of the South Winds right now, but that's the Dora, so they can still have that. Their own wind is gone. The White Dragon's still out, the Red Dragon's still out, and the Green Dragon is still out. But we can probably estimate their hand to be anywhere from like 5,200 points to an 8,000 point hand. So, do I fight this? Yeah, I don't know really. I thought it was actually kind of good to fight this here, mainly because if I Riichi, it kind of pressures people, because if like this guy deals into a Mongon, he's now potentially threatening to get last place. If this guy deals into a Mongon, there's a pretty good chance they're going to get last place. And if this guy deals into a hand right now, especially with me and them pushing, even if they do have the last dealership, it's going to be pretty hard, especially if they don't have anything to fight with. Like, I have 3 Dora right here. This person's opening with tons of stuff. They might not have any Dora. They could just be like going for a quick Toy hand or something. But, I don't know. So, should I take this? The answer to that question is I have no idea. So I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to everyone I know. Personally, I kind of like the Riichi here, mainly because of this 8 Sozu. So if we look on the board, we can see 1, 2, 3 right here. So that makes it pretty okay, because there's a lot less tiles that it can be used with. But the 6 and the 5 of the bamboo is like completely missing as well, so it could still be used in that. Ideally, if I reach, I want like this person to fold and this person to fold. Even if this person pushes me, it wouldn't be the end of the world if they win off me. Mainly because 4th place is so far behind. And if I do win that, that almost guarantees me the 1st place in the game. But do I need to risk that? I don't know. Either way, like Tumon is still technically kind of dangerous on the board. Yeah. Uncertainty. I asked my friend, I'm like, should I reach? And he's like, on that weight? Damn. Okay, let's see. So in this case, how many of the 7s do I actually think probably remain in the wall? This person's like a hit or miss. It could be like an Anko of them, or it could be like a pair of them. But they dropped the 8 so really early, so maybe not? I don't know. This person we have no information on regarding the upper Sozu, and the same with this person. So it doesn't look great. Like, if we take this Riichi, it's definitely not because it's really great. It's because of the situation. And it's also, you know, Dora 3. The main point of this is that I have a couple of the Dora. And so my main fear was that, if they were opening from the beginning with these kind of calls because they had the Dora and they were relying on that, this would help me a little bit from dealing into their big hand. But even if they have a Dora pair and they get to Tempai, they're still going to have another side of the weight, so it's still a little bit dangerous. Yeah, the defense and all that is something that comes in. Usually whenever you first learn Mahjong, the first thing is like, alright, what's a complete hand? 4 groups of 3 in a pair, and then also a Yaku. And then you gotta get used to that, and then, start throwing in bits and pieces of strategy. But yeah, if you're ever like curious of like, oh, how do I get better at Mahjong, or where do I go to now? There's a good amount of articles out there. If you like just start off Mahjong and you're like, oh, I want to win some, I would definitely suggest looking at some tile efficiency articles, which I have a link to one. So this is off a site called Osamuko, which is a Mahjong blog. And this is a translated article, and it has 5 different parts, and so it just goes over the basics of tile efficiency, which is basically how to discard your hand in such a way so that you're most likely to get to a winning hand before other people do. So, yeah, I don't know. Should I take this or not? My friend says no 6-0 makes little difference, but he would reach it. So the alternative is Tsumogiri and hope you draw this, or draw and discard, and then like hope you draw like the south or something. Not that great of a choice. Yeah, I still kind of like it. So let's put ourselves in like the shoes of the other people. So if I declare a Ricci, I probably have something because I'm in like first place, and I don't think I would, the first place person would like Ricci just like randomly, right? They probably have some type of Dora, or like some like really big weight, something that made it worth them actually calling Reach, because first place calling Ricci in this situation doesn't make sense otherwise. So then they have a choice. They're like, well, I can either push what I have or I can fold. In the case of this person, if they're Tempai with the Mongon, they're probably going to push. In the case of this person, it's a little bit harder, especially if me and this person are duking it out. So they could or could not fight, depending on what they have. This person right here is in last place, and so they might want to fight, but they might not have the chance to if there's like 2 big threats on the field. Plus, they have their dealership in the last hand, so they're not completely out of options. Yeah. Oh, you come from competitive Magic? Yeah, you'll fit right in here. In the Seattle group, there's one of like the main players over there, and like one of like the best players in the group. He works at Magic right now, so there's definitely a lot of people in that group that like to play Magic. So yeah, sounds a good fit. What does my friend say? Yeah, he doesn't see a reason not to reach. You could argue that Toyman is probably Ishanten with the 9-mon. Drop 9-mon, probably safe. Being his safe tile, he didn't change it with the 6-mon. Oh, that is true. But even then, you can afford a Sashikomi into both Shimocha, this person, and Kamicha. And if this person right here is going for Toy 2 Dora, or specifically 2 Non, then I block that. So yeah, that's the same thought pattern I had right here. Ricci! So right here, he drops what looks to be a safe tile, but it could just be overflow. This person also does the same thing. This person right here drops like a safe tile, but it's also a Toitsu drop, or a pair drop that they were already doing, so they could be continuing their hands. This person drops a pretty safe tile right there. This person drops a very dangerous, nowhere to be seen green dragon. Unless it came from a pair or a triplet in their hand, they might be pushing as well. This person drops the 7, which is safe tile right there. So still, this looks like folding. 7, just draw and discard. They can have anything. Chi drops that. So this is a 1 chance, but it looks like they're pushing their hand. Though, because we can see one of the door right here, most probably their hand is at most, 5,800 points, or more likely 2,900. This person's still folding pretty hard. Oh, but then they pawn it. Oh, and then they drop a dangerous tile right there, which is like completely unsafe. So now they're pushing. They could possibly even be in Tempai with there. This person drops a 1 pin from their hand. That's also dangerous. White Dragon comes out. nowhere on the board. They look like they're probably in Tenpai. Safe tile because they just dropped the turn before. And everyone's just like draw and discard. Oh my god. Alright, so how many people were in Tenpai here? My guess is at least, I think the dealer was, and I think maybe this person is too. So if that's the case, all three of them maybe? Let's find out. So this person was indeed Tenpai. They have the Dora, they can't drop it. This person was also Tenpai for just a 1,500 point hand. And then this person was Tenpai with 2 Dora, but surprisingly the 2 red Dora, and they had the Haku as well. Yeah, that's a fun situation. So at the time of my reach, how bad was my 7s actually? So yeah, it's about what I thought. It's like no clue, probably not. So still 2 in the wall. This person got pretty lucky though, in that they were able to like drop safe tiles, drop safe tiles, drop safe tiles, and only drop the dangerous tile once they hit Tenpai. This person had to drop like a little bit before. Specifically that dragon that was completely unsafe for them. And then they couldn't call the dragon before because they weren't 1 away from winning. So if it came out right now, actually, why didn't they call it right there if they were willing to drop the 3 later? That's weird. So they're willing to drop this 3 a little bit later, but not now. Why is that? Because this person? I guess if it does go to Tenpai and all 3 of us are in, if it does go to exhaustive draw and all 3 of us are in Tenpai, this person would have to pay up 3,000, but I don't know. Or maybe it's because they drew the Dora and now it's like, oh cool, now I have a hand like worth it, because if they win it's 3,900 points. Okay. And then they got to Tenpai on that one that they pushed. Fun hand. And then, did I have any questions in Odas? Oh, I did have one. And that was... So, right here... Actually, I had 2. This person dropped the Dora, and they're in last place in their dealer. And so everyone's immediately like, oh no, they're probably in Tenpai, what do we do? So like safe tile from their hand, drops the Dora, safe tile from their hand, drops the 6, now it's like, they're probably in Senpai, oh my god. Safe tile, safe tile, safe tile. They even dropped, you know, whatever they had. This is actually kind of interesting, because they opened up with a, like, 2 Tanyao pairs, but then they dropped an 8 and a 9 pin. So that leads me to ask, what's their Yaku? If we look at the Yaku high remaining, red dragon's dead, green dragon's dead, white dragon's dead, south is dead. Their own wind is also dead, so it's like, what were they going for? Unless they happen to just keep holding on to this and we're chasing after Tenpai only. But anyway, so now that we can see this Dora, this Dora, and this Dora, and this Dora, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 Dora out. And they also dropped this and an early 9, so there's a decent chance they don't have another 8 in their hand, which means that their complete value is probably only 2,900 at most, or maybe even just 1,500. This green dragon and 1 Dora, or no Dora. So at this point, rather than folding with this 8, I should have just dropped the 2 right here, because even if I deal into them, it doesn't hurt much, and the situation doesn't change much. Plus, I continue to push my hand forward. Except I didn't realize that until around about here, but luckily the game was really nice, and like, here, you can have this 8 back. I saw that you dropped it. And then at that point, I think this person, where is he, is also figuring that out, like, oh, yeah, I can just go for my hand, or maybe they were even going for it in the first place. And they have 1 red Dora, so probably 2,900 points. This person also has to go for Tenpai now, because if it goes to exhaustive draw and they're the only one not in Tenpai, they're going to take a pretty decent hit with their points. Then I get to Tempai right here, and now I can either throw the 6 and wait on the 2, 5, 8, or the 5 and wait on the 4 and the 6. In the game, I was like, oh, maybe I should have took the 3-sided weights, but I shouldn't because that would put me in footy 10 right here. Plus, if we look on the field, 2s are already dead over there. And then 5s and 6s, while we don't see any on the board, we don't see any of the tiles around them that can actually use them. So, like, we don't see any, like, 4s, we don't see any, like, 1, 3, we don't see any 6s, so it's not as good as it seems. In comparison, this weight right here is really good because we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But every single person has discarded, like, one of them, so quite probably, even if they do draw them, they won't be able to use it, which means they'll drop it into us. So the 4, 7 of circle weight right here is really good. And that's what happened right there. Boom! So let's see. So yeah, this person was going for open Tanyao. They got to Tempai with just their 8, and then this person was looking just to dash for only Tempai. But what happened with them? So they drew a 5, and now... Why did they drop the 7? Were they scared they can't deal into either of these people? And so they're like, well, I can't drop the 7. And then the 7 just came out right here, so if I'm going to drop a safe tile, this is the best one. Unfortunately, I just got to Tempai right there.
Go.
That's pretty interesting. And they fell down into 3rd. So sad. Alright, that's the end of this review. Let's see, what time is it? 8:12. I guess I can play one more game. Alright, so I'm going to stream with a 5-minute delay, and then I'll do a review after that. So, see you then. And thank you for watching.